Continuing with Sefer Tanya for Monday, the 12th of ER. And we spoke yesterday about the fact that Kadosh Baruch Hu is called Ein Sof, which means unlimited, and the light and vitality which emerge from him is also Ein Sof, unlimited. And therefore, when Hashem creates the created beings, he needs to do so in a way where he has to where he contracts his unlimited light and vitality in order to create something limited, and that limited thing can receive from him, which will receive in a limited way. So there's two things that become limited. One, Hashem has to contract his light, and two, the beings that are subsequently created can only receive in a limited way as well, because they are finite. Now, let's continue. Bihine Pratiot at Simsumim, the details of this contraction, the way that Hashem contracts himself to contract his light in order to create beings. Echuma, how and what. Ein kan makom beuram. This is not the place to get into it. Ach, but derechlau generally. Hein heim mechinas hester behelim. Ham shachas haor v'achayus. What's happening is there is the aspect of a cover-up and a concealment which conceals the light and vitality. Shelo ye'ir, that it will not shine v'yumshach, and be drawn down with taktonim to the lower worlds, but bechinas gilui in a revealed way. Lilaveh shalashapia behem ulachayosem yesh ma'ayin, to dress up and to influence in them, to enliven them to be something out of nothing. Ki ma'at mizir or b'chayos, but only in a small and minute measure of the light and vitality, in order so that they will be limited. Okay. Note, with the life force be revealed within them, they would be infinite. It wouldn't happen, right? Since Hashem is unlimited, so Hashem cannot reveal in them unlimitedness because they would not be therefore limited. They would be not able to be created. So Hashem has to contract his light and vitality, which becomes a life force of the created being, and it remains concealed from them. All that is revealed is a little minute degree of light and vitality. Let's continue. Shehi Aura. This is a ray, mu'etet, small, mu'etet, very, very small. Umamash kla chashivi legabe bechinas ha'ara b'likavu v'tachlis. This light which is coming down to give life to things is very small and literally like nothing compared to the aspect of the ray of the infinite ray light from Hashem himself. There's no comparison whatsoever. So Hashem's vitality is Ein Sof, and what comes down to the vitalized creations is a tiny infinitesimal illumination, which is considered like absolutely nothing compared to its source. Kanoda, as is known in Pirush Milas Erech B'Misparim, as is known the explanation of the word Erech, when to say that something has a relationship to something else. B'Misparim is, say, for example, in numbers. She'echa B'Mispar, you have number 1, for example. So that number 1, Yeshlu Erech Legabe Mispar elef alafim. So one has a relationship to a million. Elef alafim. Shu chelik echad minei elef alafim. That one is one part. It is one part from 1 million. Right? So there is an error. You have 1 in 1 million. And 1 is 1/millionth of a million. Note, the sum of 1 million is merely the sum of 1 million ones. Subtract 1 and the million ceases to exist. A clear demonstration of the relation that subsists between one that exists between 1 and a million. Okay, so there is an erech. But in comparison to something that has no limits or number at all, ein kenegdo shum erach b'misparim. So if something is absolutely unlimited, then there is no erech. There's no relationship in numbers at all. Shafilu elef alafim of ribut rabavos, for even a billion and a trillion, einan afilu ke'erach mispar echad legabe elef alafim of ribut rabavos. When compared to unlimitedness, then they do not even attain the relevancy of the value of one in comparison with a billion or a trillion. Let's see that again. And for even a billion and a trillion. That's not like even one. In comparison with a billion or a trillion. So if you have the number 1 and then you compare that to a billion or a trillion, there's an error because you take a billion ones or trillion ones and you get there. But if you have a billion or a trillion and you compare that to infinity, it doesn't even have the value of 1 in relationship to a billion or trillion. It's nothing. Zippo. 0. Has no impact. Ela kolo mamash chashiv. It's considered like nothing. And that concludes today's Tanya. What's the point of this mushal with the numbers? It's to show that the Abishter's light is unlimited. And once the Abishter contracts that light to create for the purpose of creation, so the light that the Abishter uses to create, since it becomes limited, is like Zippo compared to his essential light, which is unlimited. And that concludes Tanya for Monday. See you on Tuesday.